To our scholars, parents, and our community partners, thank you for tuning in to the newest episode of the CrosbyCast, recorded at the Goodwill Career Center in Statesville, North Carolina. I'm your host, W.H. Hayes, and I'm joined today by Zoe Harding, Crosby Scholars Iredell's middle school coordinator. How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. So how long have you been at Crosby? What have you been up to since you joined?
Yeah, so I have been with Crosby for a little over 2 years now, and I'm the middle school coordinator, so I work with all of our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders across the county. And so for the last 2 years, I've been doing programming, getting to know all of our awesome middle school scholars, and just continuing to build up our middle school program.
And what was your story before Crosby Scholars? What did the timeline pre-Crosby Scholars look like?
Yeah, so I have always been very passionate about education and supporting young people in their development and their growth towards their futures. And so I graduated from college in 2021, and following my graduation, I did 2 years of teaching through Teach for America, and so I taught middle school math, and that was an amazing experience. I really grew so much in that time, and I absolutely loved my students. I loved working with my students and just seeing how much they could grow and develop over a year. But after a few years of that, I wanted to kind of pivot and get more into the counseling space or the career development or college attainment space, because I think that is really where my passion lies. And so Crosby was really the perfect fit for me. And I have loved, being a part of Crosby's mission of supporting students in their development, whether that is college, whether that is career goals, just helping them explore all the amazing options out there and, work towards their goals.
And when you're in that counseling space, when you're doing all that stuff with Crosby Scholars, what does the average week tend to look like for you?
I think that's one of the best parts of this job is that no week is the same. Every week is a little bit different, so it really keeps things fresh. But a lot of my time is spent working with students, whether that is in the schools, delivering programming to the students about college and career goals, or programming outside of schools. We offer a lot of virtual options. We offer weekend events that are always super fun and high energy, as well as community service projects. But yeah, most of my time revolves around planning awesome programming for our students, and also working directly with our students and parents to help answer any questions and support their pathway through the program.
And when it comes to that pathway through the program, why start in middle school?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and I really say that middle school is the perfect time to start, and I know a lot of people think that that might be too early, but really, middle school is the time when children really start to wrestle with thinking about their identity and how they fit into the world around them, and who they want to be, who they want to grow into through their life. And so middle school is a great time to start having those conversations, because really our goal is that in middle school, it can be fun. It doesn't have to be stressful. It can just be focused on exploring and considering all the amazing options out there, and exposing students to things that they might not know about, might not have ever seen before. And so having that early exposure so that when it comes time to make those decisions later on in their high school journey, so that students feel empowered and they feel that they have a wealth of options to choose from, because of some of that work that they did earlier on of exploring when things weren't quite so serious or weren't quite so, right in their face, time to make a decision. So yeah, middle school is a great time to just start early and make it exciting and low stress.
And what are the kind of lessons you tend to try and pass on to the students you work with directly?
Yeah, and so a lot of our middle school programming is focused around soft skills and just building students up, helping them to, explore and consider what their options are. So we do a lot of the the skills that they will continue to build on throughout their time in high school and beyond. So communication skills, time management, building their academic skills, goal setting, all of that kind of solid foundation really happens in middle school. And so we have a lot of those sorts of conversations, but also starting to talk about college and careers in that low stress environment. And so exposing students to the options that are out there for college, that a 4-year track is a great option and can be accessible to a student if that's what they want. But also that there are so many other options beyond just that, typical 4-year track that students might think of when they think of college. And so just seeing what other choices are out there for higher education and for credentials and just for pathways after high school, seeing that there are so many different options and that our whole goal is just to help them be successful no matter what it is that they want to do, and finding that path that fits their goals and their talents, and just set them up for success with that.
What kind of strategies do you use to expose students and scholars to all the different pathways that they have access to?
Yeah, so we recognize that in middle school, they, are really excited to learn about those things. And it might be really their first time ever hearing about certain programs or pathways. And so we really just try to start very introductory about, here are some of the options that are available to you after high school, and kind of being very clear about what that might entail in terms of education, like how many years they might need to spend in education for certain pathways, like, if they're dreaming of a certain career, whether that might require 2 years of college or 4 years of college or 10 years of college, and so just really breaking it down in a very concrete way that our younger students can understand and start to imagine for themselves is really kind of our goal, so that as they start to weigh their options and see, something that might spark some interest in them, they can continue to dive into that in high school and learn more about the specifics of what it really might entail to pursue a certain goal or dream that they have.
And with all the passion you bring to the table, what has been your favorite moment in Crosby Scholars?
That's a really hard question because there are so many amazing moments that I've had in my short time here at Crosby. Honestly, I think any moment that I'm working directly with a student, especially when I see that kind of spark go off for them, and seeing them light up about a dream or a goal, I think that renews my passion every single time it happens. I would say one of my favorite memories is probably an event we did at Rescue Ranch this summer, which, if you don't know, Rescue Ranch is a local nonprofit based in Statesville, and they work with animal welfare. They are kind of a safe place for rescue animals to end up, and they have a lot of farm animals and kind of more exotic animals, and so we did a really awesome middle school event partnering with Rescue Ranch this summer, where we took a group of students there to not only learn about animal careers, which a lot of our students get super excited thinking about, veterinary, animal rescue, all of those sorts of careers. And so they got to learn about some of those sorts of careers and what sort of education would be necessary to pursue a career in veterinary, for example. But we also did some community service at Rescue Ranch. And so we had students out there cleaning up some of the, barnyard pastures for the animals. And it was just a super fun experience. I think the kids really enjoyed interacting with the animals, and also at the same time kind of learning about some careers that they might be super excited about. So yeah, that was definitely a bright spot this past summer.
And when it comes to, it can be your personal life, it can be your Crosby life, what are you looking forward to at the moment?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to some of our spring programming. Every year we offer some in-person academies at Mitchell Community College. And when we say academy, those are just our kind of events where students learn a new skill or learn about a pathway or, any of those little learnings, we call them academies. And so every year we have a couple of big in-person academy events at Mitchell, and we're really grateful for that partnership to be able to get the students on a community college campus and see what that is like. But I always really enjoy those events because they're very, high energy, and it's always just great to gather students from across the county, from many different schools, all together in one place to just kind of talk about their hopes and dreams and enjoy being Crosby Scholars together. I think it's a really special experience.
Crosby Scholars Iredell's Zoe Harding, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.